So okay guys, we shall start the session in 2 minutes. So sorry for the delay. I'll share my screen now. ಹಲೋ ಹಾಂ ಸರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ ಸರ್ ಈಗ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ. So in the previous class we used to talk about the examples about Monday. So what we did on Monday, we used to know about inheritance by parent class and son class, and we get to know about encapsulation on this. So we shall create a new package which we'll be doing here on Tuesday. So yesterday we get to know about the package, Monday package. So this was yesterday's class. This was all about encapsulation. So here I have created an employee class, and this employee class I have used the public keyword, the private access modifier I have used, and I have used getters and setters so that I can get access of that in a different class. And I said inheritance, what I talked about was like you have an attributes and that son can access the attributes of the father class. Look here, you have created the son object, not the father object. So today we shall create a new package. So you have to be thorough with your package, like where you are going to create, what access it is going to give based on the accessifiers. So package, you have to use lowercase keys to create the package. So Tuesday. So for today we shall see other two concepts which are like polymorphism and abstraction. So yesterday I told you about polymorphism. So what exactly is polymorphism? As I said, entity is one but it has multiple properties. As I gave the example, female is an entity, she can be a mother, sister, daughter. It has multiple examples there. So now I am going to create a new example for the polymorphism of how exactly it works. So the example for polymorphism is I am going to create a method. So method here is the entity, and this method is nothing but method overriding. So I'll close the classes here. So I'll just give a brief explanation about polymorphism. Is that, as I said yesterday, poly means many forms. Polymorphism, poly means many, like morphism is nothing but forms. It can take many forms, and whatever the methods you are going to do, right, it is based on the inheritance. Like if you suppose, as I said before, a female is an entity, she is a daughter to the parent class, she is a wife to the husband class. So you have to inherit there, it has to be extended, class should be extended so that the polymorphism works. She is a mother to the son class, like that classes will be extended. So inheritance, you should know the concept of inheritance. As I said, class can be extended. Only then you can achieve polymorphism in your project. So now what I'll do is that I'll create a new class. In the new class, so I will create the class here as female. So this is the entity. I have created the class female, and here in the female I'm going to write a method, public void role. So what role she is going to carry out, and here I'm going to write sys out, and I can write a female can play multiple roles, can play multiple roles. So this is my female class. Now I'll create another class which will be telling like daughter class. So here I will have a main method. So I don't need the main method as of now. I'll just create a class. So here daughter, and here I will use the same method. I will use this same method. So in the daughter class, what role she has. So here I will write public void role. Look, I am having the same class here. The same class role I am going to play here, and here the output I will be giving different. So here I will write I'm a daughter to my parents, and I'll create another class, wife class. Wife, and I'll copy paste the same method there. The same method, but the output will be different. Role, the what role she is playing here in the wife. I'm a wife to my husband, and here again I'll create one more class, mother. MOTH, yeah, this is the mother class, and here, and I'll paste the same method, but here as a mother she will be I'm a mother to my children. So here this is the main class. She can have multiple role. Now I'll create the main class which contains class main class, and here I'm going to get the output here. So I'll take the main output. So I can have multiple objects here. As I said before, I can have multiple objects. I'll be having multiple objects. So if I need this female, I'm going to write the object in the main class. I have to write the object for female. How to create it? You have to Eclipse will give f is equal to new female, and if I check here f dot role, look here, this method is coming from this class. System.println here can play multiple roles. So I have created a female object. What I'm asking is it can play a female role. Now I have to create a separate class where I'll be using. Now if I want my daughter, I have to create a daughter object. So for daughter, DAUGHTR, daughter D is equals to new daughter. So this is how you create object. And here I have to make sure D dot role. So what role? Using the object D, I'm going to call the method. So what is the method here? If I run here, look here, I am a daughter to my parents. So another class you have is wife. Wife W is equal to new wife. Don't think it as a new wife, it's the same wife, the constructor you are going to create. W dot role. And if you check this, I'm a wife to my husband. Now the last one is mother. M is equals to new mother. Here I'm going to write M dot role. So I'll run it now. Now you guys can see the example of like can play multiple roles. A female, look, female class, female constructor, this output can play multiple roles. Daughter class, daughter constructor can play I am a daughter to my parents. Wife class, wife. Now it is understood that if the class is daughter, the output you will expect is a daughter. What I have to do is that you have written the same function, right? This is the same function. Now it is understood that if you use daughter, daughter is the constructor. If you use wife, as I said before, a female can play any role. So I have to make this female should be the daughter, female should be the wife, so female should be the mother. Look, now you are getting this error. Why? Cannot convert daughter to female. It is not getting converted. Before you got the output, now it is showing error. You know why it is showing error? Because the classes what you have mentioned, it was of the same before, so you got the output. Now you have to make female object, then female can be daughter, female new wife, female can be mother. If you do this, you are getting error. If you have to remove this error, the only thing what you have to do is that you have to extend. If she becomes a daughter, it is only because she is a female, so extend female. So once you write this, one error should be gone. Look here, this error goes now. Now for the wife. So how she becomes wife? Because she is a female, right? She can play this role too. Extends female. Now you are able to see another error has been removed. Now mother. So mother class has to be extended. Extends female. And now if I run, you are able to get the output without any errors. Look here, without any error. Look, even this error will goes now. Extends female. Now if I run this, look here, it is showing error, just ignore it. But here you are able to see the outputs. Can play multiple roles. I am a daughter to my parents. So this is like extending part is inheritance, but this is polymorphism. You are using the same method. You are overriding the method. Here the method was she can play multiple roles, but here the same method output is I am a daughter to my parents. So this is all about polymorphism and overriding. So what you did here is that, so if the class was daughter, here also daughter, then you get the output, but you need that female to be a daughter. She can play multiple roles, right? So this is all about polymorphism. Entity is one, but it can have different forms. Look here, entity is one, female. She can be female, she can be a daughter, she can be a wife, she can be a mother. Just ignore this error as long as you are getting the output. So here if I make this, she can be whatever she wants. and if you run here, you are still getting the same output. Look here, she can be whatever she wants. Now the error has been removed. Sometimes it will show error in your Eclipse because it is because of the application problem. The CPU usage will be more, so that it gives you error. So for now, just understand that polymorphism means entity is single and the role will be multiple. And if you have to achieve this polymorphism, you have to know the inheritance. So this is inheritance. She is inheriting that. As she is a female, she can play this many roles. Got it? I hope you got cleared with this example about polymorphism. Now we shall move to the abstraction, which is another concept in Java. I mean in the OOPS, it is another example. So when I say abstraction, guys, abstraction is the process of hiding certain details. Like, look now, while you are riding a car, you know you have to change the gear. So when you change the gear, the gear depends on the type of road you are moving in. Suppose you have a up, you can move it in the first gear itself. Suppose you are in a highway and when you have to go fast, you are going to use third gear to go more fast, and you are going to change. All you know is that you have to change the gear. But do you know when you change the gear lever, what happens inside? No one knows that apart from the mechanics who are known to build the engines. Apart from them who are going to buy the car, those people knows how to change the gear so that to make the car move on the upper road or in the flatter road or to go fast, but they never know what goes inside of it, how it is converted to go on the flatter road. So when I move this, what happens inside mechanically, no one knows that. So that is abstraction, hiding the main part. That is what we call abstraction in Java. And you have abstract classes and you have abstract methods. In abstract class, a class cannot create its objects. As you can see now, look here in the same example, this public object, you have created this object, right? So once if you make this abstract, look here, once if you make the class name abstracts, here it is showing the error, cannot instantiate the type file. So because once if you create an abstract class, it means you can never create the object of that class. For class, when we use this abstract keyword, this is not a modifier, this is a non-modifier, this is just a keyword abstract. So when we will be using abstract, we will be using abstract so that when a class extends, it cannot create the object of that class. At that time we will be using abstract classes. So I will create the new one here. So I'll remove this abstract. This is fine with this example. And one more thing, abstract method, what you have, right? An abstract method does not contain a body. It doesn't have a body at all. It has only the method. It cannot contain the method there. The method output, it cannot do there. The only the abstract, the class which is going to extend, right? That thing only can have that implementation method. So now I will show you the example of how the abstraction works. So look here, as I said, first you have created the object of the female, then here you observe, here you have female and created daughter. So if it is an abstract class, you have to create the daughter only. So I'll create the example here. Class apps class, this is an abstract class. If I write the abstract, Java compiler will give error, so I'll just make abstract. So this is my example abstract class. So here I am going to make this. So for now let it be here. So I'll have a method here, void public void display. And here I want to write a sysout, and I'm going to say we are getting represented. So this is a method, and I'm going to create another method, class abstract class 2, and here I'm going to have the main method. So as I said before, if you want to get that method, you have to extend this class, right? Look now, for now I'll create the object of this class, abstract class. So it is okay to provide the object abstract class A is equals to new abstract class. So if I make a dot display, look here, it is showing error. It doesn't know what this S cannot look, because I have to write A. So when I have created the object of this class, it means that whatever inside this class, it is accessed. Now if I run, look here, look here, you are going to get we are represented. Got it? Now the other thing is that you have made it abstract. So if you do that, you cannot create the object here. You cannot create that class object. So you have to create the object of this class, so that an error gets removed. So now if you run, look, now if you run, it is showing the error, because when you use the object of this class, you are able to call this method, but now you cannot create this object. So you have created this object, but this method you cannot access there. So what you have to do? Inheritance. You have to extend so for that you have to extends abstract class. So look, now the error has been removed. Now if you run, you are able to see we are getting represented. So this is about the abstract class. You cannot create that method. Now one more thing, what if you make a method abstract? So you have a method here, you are going to make this public as abstract. If you make this method abstract, it is showing error. Why? Because look here, it is telling us abstract methods do not specify body. So you cannot have the body. All you have to do is that you have to invoke it here. That's it. Look, now no error. You have to just invoke it. That's it. That is done and dusted. You cannot write the role here. You cannot write anything. If you write anything here, it will give you error. Now how to call this method? You have to assign the value of that method inside the child class, where look here, already it is showing error. It is telling must implement the inherited abstract method abstract class dot display. You have to write that functionality here. Inside here you have to write that functionality, because this is a son, right? This is the class. Extends means this will become subclass, child class. Now this is the thing that has to give body for that method. So here I'm going to write public void display, and here I'm going to write sys of I'm in child class. Now if you run it, now I am in child class. So this is abstraction. An abstract class cannot derive an object out of it. So you have to extend. And an abstract method, look here, an abstract class cannot create the object of this as I created before. If you have mentioned abstract in the class, it is understood that an object cannot be created. If you have to create the object, you have to create the object of that particular class. Look here, abstract class 2. This is abstract class 2. And if you make a method abstract, it means that it cannot have a body. It can only have a name, method name. For this full form, it can be given to the child class. Once when it get extended, it can get the access, and there you can give the body origin to that method. And when you call display, you are going to get it here. Look, in place of display, if you write show, it will give you error. Look here, it will give you error. So this is okay. This is a normal function. You can have this function too, but you have to write display at any cost. You should write a method of display. Look, now this method belongs to this class, but this method, when the son comes, it is understood. Now suppose you are making a ration card. It is when you get 18 plus, you have to mention your father. You have to mention your father. Other than father, you can mention your child. Your child too. So this show is your child. Look here, this abstract class is the father. So this father cannot, the object cannot be created. He has resigned now. The father cannot create objects. So here this son who is extending his father can write a method of his son who is going to get born, like the grandson here. But you should mention the father too here. If you have not mentioned, it will give you error. Even though this class is yours and this son is belongs to yours, but when you extend, right, you and the here the father is abstract, you have to mention the father class. Father's method you have to, at any cost you have to mention. Only if the method here is abstract. If you have not mentioned abstract, now here you have the value. You have to write the body here. That is all about the, look here, once if you write sys out, then you can write whatever you want. I am the father. But if you make this father abstract, you cannot give this body. You should just call the method. So this is all about the abstract class and abstract method, and this process is what we call abstraction. Any doubts here guys about these two examples? You have any doubts? Abstraction class and abstraction methods. If you have any doubts, please do ask me now. So Asha, Saraswati, Gayatri, you have any doubts regarding this abstraction?
No.
So Deepa, you have any doubts here?
No, sir.
Shrikant, what about you? You have any doubts about abstraction and polymorphism?
No, sir.
So this is what the OOPS concept. As I said, look, these four things are the main. In yesterday's class, I talked to you about encapsulation. Encapsulation means a class has private attributes. These private attributes it has. If you want to get access to that in the main class, you have to use getters and setters method, and using the setters method, look here, this is the setters method. If you have the private keyword in your class, look here, for this name, this is private. For private you have getters and setters method. So this is how you are going to write using setter method. You are setting the name. Getter method you are used to get the name. If there is no private keyword, you are going to assign the value, set the name as this and get the name like this. So this is encapsulation. And as I said, inheritance is a concept where a parent's class attributes can have the access for the son class. Look here, there is no father class. This is the son. You have created the object on the son. You can create the object based on parent too here. That is left to you. But even you can create on the son only if you use inheritance, this keyword. If you have not used this keyword, if you want to get access, you have to call the father, parent class. So this is inheritance. The parent class should be extended by the son class so that son can have his own object. So this is inheritance, second part of the OOPS. And the third one is polymorphism. So this is polymorphism. Entity is single. This entity is single here. Female is the single here. this is the single one here, female, but she can be extended. Here in the main class, as you can see, this female is the object, female can be a daughter. If you write the daughter class, it's okay, but you are getting the concept of polymorphism. For that you need inheritance. How you can inherit? By this you are inheriting the daughter. So a female can be a daughter, female can be a wife, female can be a mother. So this is polymorphism, and the same method what you are using, this is called overriding. In role of female class, this method is she can play multiple roles. Look here. Here every method I have called is the same role parenthesis. I am invoking the role method, but here it is getting overridden. In female she can play multiple roles. In daughter role she is a daughter. In wife role she is a wife. In mother's role she is a mother. This is the same method, but you are expecting a different output, different logic. This is what we call method overriding, and this is also called polymorphism. To achieve polymorphism, you have to write inheritance. Look here, as I said in the daughter class, you can see daughter extends female. This is inheritance, and one more class is abstraction. So as I said, abstraction, it means that you are hiding something, you are hiding the logic. The user knows how to change the gear. Now I have to go fast, I'll go for the third gear. Now this the road is little bit upper, I'm going to go for the second gear. He knows if I use second gear, I'm going to climb the road. He knows if I go for the third gear, I'm going to fast. He knows that, but he doesn't know if I move this second gear to third gear to go fast, what is the mechanism that is going to happen. He doesn't know. Why? Because here it has been abstract. Here he can see only the body. Here this abstract method, he can see only the body. The mechanism is happening inside in the parent. Look here, inside in the child class, the mechanism I have written inside. I am inside the child class. I am inside the engine. How the gear works, it is not to you, it is to the child class. So it knows when the gear is moved to third, the mechanism changes in this class. So here engine, this gear is extended by the engine, and that display the body, it has gear. So when you are giving the body origin, so when there is a third gear you mentioned, here is the mechanism go fast. Look here, I will write it here. So I will make change gear. This is the method. So it has no body. What it does, so in the abstract class here, change gear. Look, it is showing error because this method should be given the same method name, change gear. So here I am going to write third gear moves fast. So these are the concept about the oops. These are the basic things. Once you get into interview, if they ask about you about the oops, look here, it is showing error because display method is no more. So now if I run, the abstract class extends, right? When the gear is changed, the driver knows only to move the gear to third. Here he only knows move the gear to third. So the mechanism here, it is third gear moves fast. You got this output. So this is all about oops concept in Java, guys. If you have any doubts, please do ask now. So from tomorrow you will be going into different examples like SQL, how you are going to connect backend. So Java is a backend programming language. Whatever the details you fill in the Google dot, when you suppose you click facebook.com and you are going to sign there, right, that is we call front end. And front end we are going to use HTML, CSS, JavaScript and frameworks. Frameworks you use Angular, libraries we use React. That is we call UI, UI and UX. We have user interface, user experience that can be built by, look here, I will show you here, www.facebook.com. so this is front end. Whatever you are going to see here, right, this is front end. Look here, this form, this is a form of HTML tag. So this is what we call front end. For this page to display here, we are going to use HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and for designing we are going to use Angular framework or React library. So once you log in, right, Once you write the data and the password, once you click login, it goes for that particular page, right now I have given incomplete, but when you click, it goes for that particular page, right? That will be done by the server using the API. It goes to the server, and whatever the response it is going to fetch, right, that is what we call backend data. So this data is going to check. So suppose if I have given the admin name, username admin, it checks here in the background. Here it checks what is the value. So value is admin, password is your mobile number. Got it? This is how the backend data works. And once the backend data is passed, this is Java, this is backend data. Once the data is passed here, it is going to store in the database. So next time when you have to hit the data, you need the table, right? So it goes to hit the name of the username. So this is how front end going to connect it with the integration part to the backend, from the backend to the database. The database where it hits the data, right, we will be using SQL. So on the further classes we will be using Spring Boot and Hibernate for the backend data integration, and the database we are going to use is MySQL, that is the database. So once if you know about the database is not a big thing, you can learn it in a simple way. That is just a framework. Look here, I have a database here, MySQL. Look here, I have SQL Yog. Look here, this is the database. It might take some time because my system has gone dizzy, so just ignore it. So the login what you do, right, that hits the backend and then stores it here. For now I'll just close this. Look, this is how your database will be looking here. For now it is not working, but here the table will be generated, a new user login. Suppose if Srikanth has logged in, his data will be stored here. So this is how they capture the data. So front end, the form they look into, they will write the data. That data is going to hit the backend. From backend, it is going to use the database. You might wonder, sir, when I log in from the HTML, it can be directly stored in database. No, it cannot happen like that. There should be a backend connection. Backend languages are like PHP, Java, all these are backend languages, Node.js. These things will integrate the data from the front end to the database. That's why you will have to have the backend. So that is all about Java. When I talk about Java, Java is nothing but a OOPS concept, object oriented. Everything that is in Java is of objects. And in OOPS you have to always remember 4 main concepts, which are like inheritance, polymorphism, abstraction and encapsulation. So these are all the 4 things that you have to remember every time about Java. If you guys come clear with these concepts, whatever the concepts I have covered so far from the beginning, if you know this, these things will help you to know about Spring Boot and Hibernate. So once if you integrate with Spring Boot and Hibernate, then you are going to learn SQL. Then you are a backend developer. Front-end developer is someone who works on the UI, who is going to create a form where the data is filled. Backend is someone who receives the data from UI and there the data gets processed. And database developer is someone who is going to store the data. If you do all these things, you will be called as a full stack developer. One who can create the UI page, then one who can pass the data from UI to the backend, and who is going to store the data. So it is left to you. So if you have to become a full stack developer, you have to know one front end framework, which is like React or Angular JS. HTML, CSS, JavaScript is global one. You have to know. If you have to create a web page, it is understood that you have to know these things. For the integration part, you have to know Angular or React JS. So have you come across the word merge stack and mean stack? MERN, MongoDB, Angular, E for Express.js, A Angular, and MERN are React, and no Node.js. That is, Node.js is of the backend. For the front-end integration, you are going to use React, and MongoDB is the database. That is, we call mean stack, Angular, merge stack, React. If you use full stack, means that is understood the backend language you are going to use Java, front-end HTML, CSS, and the framework you can use whatever you want. You can use Vue.js, Next.js, Express.js, React.js, anything you want, Angular.js. And Angular is different from Angular.js. Angular you have versions, Angular.js one and only. So for today's class, I hope this is enough. So as I said, If you have to go through the Hibernate and Spring sessions and SQL, if you have to know the integration, these are all the core parts what you have to know. So practice this well, make different assignments, and whenever you practice, if you have any doubt, please do contact me. I will help you out whenever I am free. Got it? Please practice the examples. You cannot just see and you cannot go, this is the parent class, this is the child class. Yeah, I got it. It is not like that. It is not how code works. Whatever the code it is, code doesn't works that way. When you type right, you will know how to write this class, how to write this method. If you don't want to feel that irritation, or if you don't want to get confused, every day practice 4 to 5 examples based on the concept you are going through. And as I said, if you have any doubts, please do contact me. I'm happy to help whenever I'm free. So for today's session, that's enough, I think, about the OOPS. So going on, you will be coming into knowing Spring Boot, Hibernate and SQL. And after all these three, you will know how to create an exact database and UI integration. CRUD operation, CRUD, CRUD. C for create, R for read, U for update, D for delete. So the data, how you are going to create the integration, read the data, how you are going to fetch, update the data, how you are going to modify the data, delete the data, how you are going to remove the data. The CRUD operation. If you have interest in learning these things, the only thing you have to do first is that go through the basics very well. I will end this session. Everyone have a great evening, and if you have any doubts, please do ask me, okay? For now, no doubts, right, for anyone?
No, sir.
So it is left to you how you are going to continue. We shall continue the session tomorrow, and everyone have a great evening, guys. Bye everyone.